So yesterday we have started discussing about your PACS008 message, and from that we have seen some basic application header, business application header, group header, okay, then number of transaction, date. So next point is important point, which is next important point is who is doing the settlement. Okay, so from today we are going to start discussing on the settlement part. Settlement means who is going actually moving the fund, which agency, whether it is doing a sender, whether it is doing the receiver, or it is doing by the cover method or CLRG. There are total 4, but clearing is not scope of CBPR payment. It is scope of only HVPS payment, high value payment system. Okay, so we are going to learn 3 settlement methods, which are cover, is INGA, INDA. What is INDA and INGA? We are going to see one by one. Okay. So first of all, this settlement method is you found in a group header under settlement information tab. Okay, so it will be there in group header under settlement information tab. If you want to see in your here, this is your settlement information in group header. Okay, first of all your FI to FI customer statement, inside that your group header. Okay, so indirectly I am telling the mapping as well of what is the mapping. Okay, so we are going to discuss the mapping as well, how to do the mapping. FI to FI credit customer, then your group header, inside that we are putting settlement information, and then inside that you are having settlement method. Okay, so this is the part of your if you want to map it with your, okay, by the way, mapping is not there for settlement method. There is no mapping, there is no concept of settlement method in your empty message series. So this is a totally new which is introduced here. Okay, so like this you have to map in your, not map, actually the path of this one, FI to FI, group header, settlement information, and inside that settlement method. So depend on which settlement method you are going to use, that is depend totally on the scenario. Okay, one by one we'll see here how it is look like. Let me show you in here as well. Settlement method, settlement information. Okay, it is your settlement information here in your group header. It's your group header, settlement information here, and inside that one having settlement method. Okay, settlement account, clearing account. So once you learn settlement method, there is one more term is called settlement method. So inside settlement method we are having 4 codes. Just now we saw one by one. Those are clearing, cover, INDA and INGA. Okay, so we're going to see one by one all these fields. What are these methods? Okay, so COV, cover, indicates that the customer credit transfer will be settled by using covering PACS009. Okay, so if you are using PACS009 in your message, so that settlement method is called cover. So by default all the payments which are the messages which are having PACS009 cover, those message by default is called cover message only. Okay, so this is the cover message. The agent being used in the covering payment to reimburse the instructing agent can be provided in the dedicated reimbursement agent. This allows the instructing agent to identify the debit account on their books from the reimbursement agent account. Okay, reimbursement agent funds of underbill. Okay, leave that part. Only keep in mind, whenever you want to do a covering settlement, when you want to settle the payment via cover PACS009, that time only you have to use the covering statement, COV cover. Okay, so whatever the methods I am having now, it all contain the method only INDA and INGA. They are not having any cover method here because those are PACS008 scenario here. So if I show you, this is not cover payment. I am not able to find it now. Okay, but only thing is that whenever cover payment is there, okay, it's here. So why it is not having cover here? Oh, this is not cover payment. This is clearing. I don't know why I'm not finding. Okay, if I found the example of this, I will let you know. I don't want to waste more time on this finding which are the cover method and which are not. This is also in down the instructing agent. Okay, so I will let you know that time. I will find out which is the correct scenario. Okay, and I will let you know which is the method for cover method. Okay, keep in mind on this simple thing. Whenever using PACS009 message, that time cover message, the settlement method means who is doing the clearing, it will be done by the cover statement. Okay, that is a cover statement. The next one is INDA means instructing agent. Who is instructing at 85? So who is doing the instruct means sender here. The indicates the customer credit transfer will be settled by the instructed agent. So IND means instructed. Instructed IND INDA like instructed, right? So we are giving force on the word instructed. So here D instructing and instructed here. Okay. So like this, who is going to settlement is INDA instructed INDA instructed agent as the account service institution. The account held at instructed agent may capture in the dedicated statement account number. So just now I show one more field. So before, if you put INDA, so below that you have to put the account number of that person. Okay. So in the account number put the INDA means this will be done by the instructed agent. So when I say instructed agent, what is the instructed agent? Means here. Okay, the bank A is doing the instructing agent INDA in clearing. Okay, so like this, who is doing the clearing of this payment is doing bank A. Who is sending the payment? Instructed agent, this one. Okay, so like this is instructed agent. So we are going to see that this as a one by one. That I will show you. But now only definition we are going to concentrate. It is done by instructed. Then INGA means instructing agent. Okay, who is doing the settlement of the payment is INGA. INGA. So typically, if someone want to test your knowledge on your ISO 222 fields, so that time they will typically ask this question that how many settlement methods are there and what are they. Okay, and they purposely ask you one tricky question that will they say that um, can I do the clearing by a payment called CLRG by your CLRG method. So that time they want to trick you that whether you are able to understand or not. So clearing is not allowed in CBPR guideline, CLRG clearing. Okay, and clearing is only allowed in high value payment system when you are sending payment between same currency and same country. At that time, high value payment system we are going to concentrate. Okay, so first of all, INDA instructing agent, INGA instructing agent, and the account number reliance with that will do the settlement of the payment. Okay, so these are the four settlement methods: cover, INDA, and INGA. How that works, we'll see in coming slides. How that works: instructing agent and instructed agent, how they follow each other. Account desk service instructed agent account the account held by the instructing agent, instructing that will settlement account. So here the okay, account is not mentioned here, it's not mandatory field, only this one is there, so it's not mentioned here. Otherwise below this field there is account number field also there, who is doing the settlement of the payment, that is mentioned here, but it's not mentioned here because it's not a mandatory field here. But if you see this scenario here, it's clearing system, cover method, INDA instructing forward to the payment of the next party. Okay, it is not mentioned here, otherwise I could have told you this as well. settlement information, settlement account. Okay, so in settlement account, your ID and that account number IBAN or by other field you can put it here, and you can put that who is doing the settlement. So IBAN you can put it here. Normal this field is optional, that's why it's not there. Otherwise below this one, who is doing the settlement on behalf of INDA means instructor agent, that can be mentioned there in this field. Next part of this, how we'll do the settlement. Okay, keep in mind CLRG is not part of your high value payment system. Sorry, CVPR payment system, it is part of high value payment system. Okay, so that thing trickily they ask you. The PACS messages introduce the settlement method element within the group header. We just now saw it is called settlement information. Settlement refer to the agent whose role is to act as account self-institution, the owner account providing account owner. The account owner can be agent, party or okay. If it is important, I will let you know. Otherwise, other things are additionally interbank space is not required. Why it is not important? Understand which agent reference account. Clear CLRG. Only on this. Okay. Anyways, clearing is not in our scope, so we will not concentrate on the clearing now. Okay, this is customer. Okay, directly we will jump to this. This is very important. Okay, but before that, we will see this now. What is how this clearing and INDA and INGA versus. Typically, widely we use only two methods, by the instructor agent or instructing agent who is doing the settlement of the payment. So depend on that. If we simply point to point look using traditional, we can use themselves. Okay, depending on the answer of the question, determine the settlement method in a serial payment process. Okay, depending on answer means point to point, who is sending the payment, who is receiving the payment. Here your account with me, my account with you. It is your nostro and vostro concept, right? Your account with me, my account with you. So first one is nostro, this one your account with me. So what is meaning of this A and this star? I also forgot sometimes. Let statement account owner first of all, then statement account service, statement account owner, statement account service. So statement account owner and statement account service on this. Who is sending the statement, who is the receiving of the statement, who is the owner and doing a service of this one. If we simply point to point message lake and look at when it is settled, booked using traditional language, can we ask ourselves, is the instructing agent account held service on the books of the instructed agent, or is the instructing agent holding servicing account on the instructed agent? Means who is taking services of whom? Okay, that is simple mention here. Is my account with you or this account servicing is taking of this one? This is very tricky and technical language. Don't false on this. I will tell you simply what exactly you have to remember. Depending on the answer of the question, determine the settlement method in a serial payment process, where the instructing, okay, where the instructing means ING and A. That's why the name is INGA. Instructing agent service the account and it is responsible for setting the payment leg. Instructing account is this one. Agent service the account and it is responsible for setting the payment leg. The settlement method is called INGA. Okay, when the instructing agent means sender agent, he is account held responsible for setting the payment leg, the settlement method called INGA is used. Okay, first of all INGA, where the instructed means last letter is D and A agent service account is responsible for setting the payment leg. When who is receiving the agent instructed and receiving instructing agent depend on that who is doing the servicing. Based on that, it is INDA or INGA is totally depend on that here. Okay, where the instructing agent service the account and is responsible for setting up the settlement, where the instructed agent service the account and is responsible for setting up the payment leg here. So in this example, the B is act as the instructed agent here. Okay, so because B is a statement of the services, is getting statement, what we call it is getting services from the agent here. So in the settle book using traditional educational also traditional encoding held books of a instructed agent holding the instructed agent holding the account of the instructed agent here. Okay, when this your statement holder is getting services from your account holder here, so from that point of view it is your instructed agent. On the opposite side you are getting instructed agent means your instructed agent here, INDA. Okay, by the way, how to identify this is not our case to identify this, where exactly INDA and INGA will come into the picture. Okay, so that thing um, you don't have to worry on that point now. We have a detailed session of that as well, how to identify when we actually see the payment, how processing. Okay, so we have a separate session for that as well, how to identify this one. But keep in mind, these clearing sessions are not in our scope, clearing, because it is not in the movement of fund. On the other case now here, okay, if you see how INGA is there, means instructed agent, means who is doing the clearing of the payment here, instructing agent here. So who is instructing agent here? Bank D here doing the clearing. Okay, so he is doing the clear. By the way, what should be INDA, what should be INGA, that we don't have to bother on this. Always clear in the payment always. Okay, and how to identify this? Remittance will 50. No, that's not correct word here. Okay, wait a minute. What you can say in our language here? Debtor agent, debtor agent and receiver agent. Debtor agent and your and your creditor agent. Okay, so that from that point of view you have to compare who is doing the settlement of the payment. He either is doing debtor or the creditor. Okay, it's that is the meaning here. Who is doing this? Debtor means you are 52A. Okay, and you are we haven't learned that terms right yet. It is still there. Um, the terms are we in coming sessions we are going to learn this term. So if you want to compare with your MT103, so 52A is your debtor agent and 57A is creditor agent. So who is doing the settlement of this? Who is either the sender or the receiver? Who is doing the settlement of the payment? Okay, like this. So here I am saying how the naming convention happen is instructing agent mean INSTG, okay, and G. That's why in this page only to introduce is how it is named. ING instructing agent, INDA instructed agent, INGA and INDA. That's it. Okay, based on that we have example also in the coming next page. We are going to see the example also one by one. Okay, but before that, where to put INDA, where to put INGA, that is we are going to see one more example here. I'm going to show this example here as well, how to identify INDA or INGA. Okay, not here but with example. Then PACS settlement methods relation to message process flow. The relation between the settlement of the payment legs and message process flow in an important role. The state of settlement information process. Okay, instructing agent, instructed agent. The now INGA instructed agent. The PACS message sent by instructed agent to the instructed agent has already been settled. Instructed agent may, for example, okay, these things. Okay, when we are using the instructing agent, this thing mentioned here. The PACS message sent by the instructing agent to the instructed agent have already been settled. For example, PACS002 for the previous agent with the status account accepted settlement command. In this case, you can use, okay, this is the only mention is that where you can use the instructed agent and instructed agent. Okay, what are the rules configured for doing this thing? I am 100% sure nobody able to remember all this rule. Okay, but when you're doing the any analysis, if why this is introduced, why is not done, that time definitely you are going to read these rules to identify which method has been used and why not this is used. By the way, this is clearing is only mentioned here, and cover method is already covered in PACS9 messages. That's why it is not covered in this case here. Okay. Now next is instructed agent cannot reject the PACS00 message received and it's already been settled. Okay. So already instructing agent has sent the payment and he is settling the payment, and instructed means receiver agent, who is receiver 57A, cannot reject the message because it's already been settled. The only it can recall the payment, only it can send back the payment, which is PACS004 message. Now for you to understand, is very critical now, it's very tough now to understand why I am saying all these rules. But if you get chance to work on this in your career about this payment method, that time definitely when you work on this you have to understand, if payment has been settled by INGA, your instructed INDA agent cannot reject the payment, only it can send back using your return payment of PACS004 messages. Okay, these are the business rules for your instructed agent. Okay, so do that payment. Now in similar manner, if in INDA instructing agent, if PACS002 PACS message sent by the instructing agent to the instructed agent has not been settled, okay, payment is not settled yet, at that time you can simply reject the payment and sending PACS002 message. Okay, if it is not been settled, this is the universal law for any message, not for instructing agent. Even in an MT103 also, if your payment is not been settled, it always reject and send PACS002 message. Sorry, this is only for ISO 220, not for MT-M03. So the your PACS message, if payment is settled, then send PACS004 for returning the payment. If payment is not settled, send back the payment with PACS002, which is a status message here. Okay. So this I have already shown you a diagram in your basic session. So that diagram I am once again going to explain all this flow once you understand this PACS004, CAMT53, 54. 53 is a statement message at the end. Okay. By the way, there is nothing, any bigger thing is that, any bigger time to understand this. CAMT53 is a statement message which is sent to the account owner at the end here. Okay, and this instructing agent, instructed agent, market infrastructure, these things come in picture in clearing method, and typically clearing is done by a market infrastructure. So that time we are going to introduce the clearing. By the way, this is not in the scope now of CBPR. That's why clearing is you cannot see anywhere in your messages as well. Clearing message. Okay. So INGA and INDA, I am going to explain you one with example of these both messages. First of all, I want to cover the theory part of this, how this is. Then we'll see INGA and INDA. Okay. Now see here, this example nicely explains that how your payment changes from here. So here, person is send the payment. A is sending the payment. B is your middle instructed agent, and C is your receiving the bank. B is you're doing kind of correspondence here, okay, who is settling the payment. Now here, whatever the PACS04, CAMT53 explain, we can go explain. So payment has been sent from your instructing agent here. Payment is sent by instructing agent A here. Okay, payment is sent by A, which is instructing agent, means he is sending the payment. Now the who is receiver the payment, right? Who is receiver the payment is your instructed agent, means receiver is instructed agent. That's why the payment method is instructed agent, means INDA INDA instructed agent B. So who is receiver the payment? He. Now for this chain A to B, A is instructing, B is instructed. But for chain B to C, B become now instructing agent. and C become the instructed agent, the next one. So the terminology changed from B to C. Now who will do the settlement of the payment? It will be not done by the here, it will be done by the INGA, who is instructing agent, because he is a common, right? B is done, only the naming convention has been changed. It is INDA earlier because this is instructing agent. Now the same B name change happen in the B to C flow, it is called INGA. So this is now become instructing agent, INSTG agent, and this is instructed agent. Both are the same, but on the next flow it become instructing, previous flow it was instructed agent. That is the difference. So INDA here and INGA here. INGA means instructing agent. That's it. That is only difference. So who is earlier, if it is the instructing agent, it will become the instructing agent in the next chain. That is only you have to keep in mind when you are explaining the instructing agent, instructed agent. Okay. So this is high level INGA message simple example. Here, once I am repeating, the settlement method is here for PACS008 message is INDA, instructing agent, because it A is your instructing payment, instructing, and there is a thumb rule that always an instructing agent will do the settlement of the payment at B. But now B will become your current, he is instructed agent, it will become instructing agent in the next chain of cycle. So that's why it is INSTG. That's why the settlement method will become your INGA here. So from INDA to INGA, INDA to INGA, settlement method changes here. Okay. So normally what they are saying, if payment is settled, over the market infrastructure, or the payment is settled over the life cycle, then you have to reject the payment, you have to send back the payment, return the payment with some return reason, and confirmation of that is sent with the CAMT53. Same thing is mentioned, all these things here as well. Same thing is mentioned in this example. If it is returned, then you have to return the payment and send confirmation of the code with CAMT53. If on the same payment from here, you have to send originally back to the originator of payment. So it will send to the originator, bank A here, and with the CAMT53 same reason of returning of the payment. Here it is sent to the debtor, it is sent to the creditor. Why we are rejecting the payment. The agency unable to process the payment as the payment was already been settled, okay, by the instructing agent. So now this instructing agent is already settled the payment, in this case by method INGA. So that's why agency must use a PACS004 to instruct the return of the payment. Okay, that's why it is sending back by returning of the payment, because it is already been settled. So any payment which is already settled, it is has to be returned back to the originator of the payment by using a method called PACS004 payment message, and that message we are going to see. I think there is 6 or 7 message. We are going to learn PACS004 message as well that time. Give me a second. The return of the payment would involve book entry. In this example, agent B would capture the original book entry, separated, reverse entry the settlement agent with detail on the entry. Okay. So it just mentioned that CAMT53 maintain your all the books entry here throughout the daily entry here. Okay. So this is your example of instructing agent and instructed agent here. How payment has been settled over the market or the not market infrastructure or the SWIFT here, SWIFT guidelines here. It becomes instructing and instructed. That is the method here. Let me see any examples given here. Yeah, we have one more example here of INDA now. Let's see that example also one by one. This is a bigger example now. This example contains more instructing agent. There are total 4 fields are here. So it can give more description here. So bank A is sending, bank A is debtor agent, bank D is receiver agent here, return agent, bank D, and there are 2 intermediate correspondents are involved here. B and C are involved here. So here the first payment method is settlement method is INDA, instructing agent, means who is doing the on the behalf of B. Okay. So instructing agent is doing this settlement on the first chain from A to B. That's why it is a instructing agent A, and it is given to instructed agent B. Always Payment who is sending, it is instructing agent. Payment who is always receiving is instructed agent here. That's why it is B. So in now next chain, your B become instructing agent and your C become instructed agent here. But the thing is that now earlier case B was receiving the payment, that's why instructed. Now in the next chain from B to C, it is sending the payment, that's why it become now instructing. So again it will change to INGA. Instructing means INGA, instructed means INDA. That's why in the first chain settlement method is your instructed agent. In second chain it is your instructing agent. Now in the third chain settlement method, the instructing agent, agent C, instructing agent now finally received by the bank D. So this payment chain is ending here in the D. In here, so here we are not doing the settlement between C and D only. That's why at the end it will done by bank D only, because this is the last bank in the chain and it will do the settlement of the payment. Okay. So why it is INDA here or INGA here, its reason is given here. We are going to see that also, why it is mentioned here. Okay. But before that, let's see instructing agent A, instructing agent B, it will become B, it will become instructing agent B, and it will instructed agent C. Okay. Then at the C, instructing agent C here, okay, and your D will become instructed agent. So every time here instructed C, it become instructing C. It was instructed B, instructed means INDA to INGA, INDA to INGA. Okay. The concept of payment agent also remains the same. Now let's see what is mentioned agent D here. Agent D unable to process the payment as the payment has not been settled by themselves. Instructed agent. Okay. Settlement method INGA. So agent D must use the PACS002 to instruct the rate of the payment, because here payment is not going to settle. We have to send the payment return back from agent D. That's why here we are not using instructing agent INGA here. Okay. So it is used payment method as INGA here, whether we are settling the payment from your agent D here. That's why it is using as INGA here, INDA. Okay. So settlement method INDA agent D must use PACS002 to instruct the return of the payment. Okay. So that's why in this case, typical scenario, it's a rejection of the scenario. That's why the payment is sent back with the reject reason. That's why the settlement is done by the INDA here and not the INGA, the receiver agent here, receiver bank here, receiver agent here. That's why it is INDA here. So agent D is unable to process the payment as the payment has not been settled by themselves. Instructed agent settlement method INDA agent must be used with PACS002 to instruct the return of the payment. So this is returning of the payment here for your INDA here. Note, the rejection of the payment would not involve booking entry. So payment is rejected. In this example, agent D will still produce a customer statement for agent C. This rejected payment transaction would however not appear as the entry in the statement. If you are sending CAMT 53 here, okay, this statement will not contain this entry from C to D, because here the payment has been rejected by D with PACS002 messages. So 2 is your status messages. So that's why it is rejected by bank D. So it is called rejected payment here. Okay, that is your 4 bank example here of your INDA and INGA here. How to do that? Okay, so this is your process payment. Now let's try to understand same with one of the example here. This is also a complex example, but see one by one here. Here actual example is given that high level FI to FI customer credit transfer PACS0 may settle over the payment market infrastructure. Payment market infrastructure means it is settled over one of the settlement, for example Fedwire or something like that. Okay, settle over that. Let me see if we have opened the example of also this one. So here the debtor agent initiate the payment. It's a metro debtor agent initiate the payment instructing the debtor agent, which is a metro bank here. So number 1 is your metro bank here. Okay, then number 2 is debtor agent A, means metro bank initiates a serial payments toward creditor agent D, means D, via the market infrastructure C. Agent D using agent B and C, BNP Fortis and intermediaries between them. So your B and C are your correspondents. In a simple language, we don't have relation direct to each other. That's why B and C are your correspondents, which is they call intermediary bank. Now the wordings have changed here. So now instead of correspondence, we have to use them as a intermediary bank 1, intermediary bank 2, 3, 4, like this. We have number of intermediary agents involved in payment. So this is only intermediary bank. 2 banks are here who are a direct participant of the payment market infrastructure. Means, so for example, if Fedwire is here and in the middle right you can see the bank symbol. So if Fedwire is in the middle, bank B and bank C are the correspondents, or you can say intermediary agent. B act as for A intermediary agent, C act for as a D intermediary agent here. Okay, like this. Agent B, RBS, agent B will process the payment on agent C, BNP Fortis via the payment market infrastructure. Means B to C settlement and clearing happen over the middleman market infrastructure. Payment market infrastructure settle the payment between agent B, RBS and client C, BNP. Between B and C, payment is getting settled. Okay, the BNP Fortis as direct participant of the market infrastructure can provide settlement confirmation to agent B, RBS here. So once your payment is settled between B and C, the information is passed to agent B here in a simple manner, like always we do. Agent C, means this agent now, BNP Fortis process the payment onto agent D, KBC Bank, which is a receiver bank. Once this payment is settled, means whatever the amount has to be sent to C, it is sent to bank D here. Then agent D, KBC Bank credits, agent bank credits the account of the creditor and may optionally provide notification depend on that CAMT 53. Okay, may optionally provide the statement either the payment is credited or not. That optionally statement has been generated to your person here, who is the person here at the last. Okay, so this is a flow of your payment settle or market infrastructure. Now you will say what is INGA and INDA come into picture here. So we'll see that how INGA and INDA come into picture here. This is the example which we just now saw. Same example is there. Now we'll see one by one. Between A and B. Okay, this is the first payment initiated by the payment market infrastructure. Here the settlement method is instructing agent. Here the instructed agent here. Here the B, instructed agent is B, so that's why in between this is A is instructing agent sending the payment, B is receiving the payment, right? So that's why the settlement method between A and B is INDA here. So if you say mention is INDA, means instructing agent, right? So that is the way the first chain is INDA here. Even if you see here, always the first settlement method is your INDA only, because it is instructing a payment and it is instructed a payment. So between that is INGA and INDA. Okay, next one is that in next one, now process payment between B and your C over the payment market infrastructure here. So let's see which is the next method they are using here. It must be they are using clearing here, but let's see AB and your B to B to C. Okay, if you notice here, This is introduced as high value payment system, HVPS. So when you use HVPS, we are going to see as a clearing. It should be the clearing here. See, correct. When we are using between two market infrastructure, the payment method should be clearing here. Okay. Why I am saying clearing? Always keep in mind between two banks and market infrastructure involved in that. Fedwire, for example, between B and C. Okay, and market infrastructure means, for example, Fedwire or CHAPS or BACS or your settlement is, for example, RBI, Indian government, RBI are there in the picture in the center. At that time, the clearing method, the payment settlement method is always clearing, means that particular clearing of the agency will do the clearing of the payment. That's why. By the way, this is not our scope of discussion, but still I am telling because this is come under payment method which is called high value payment system, HVPS, high value payment system. Keep in mind, maybe a small discussion, small informative question may be asked you by someone that what is the difference between CBPR and high value payment system. So CBPR payment is always happening between two countries of different currencies. Okay, high value payment system is happen between a same country and a same currency. That is only the major difference is that between identification of high value payment. Now till now C is there. Now what C? C to D. C to D, who is doing the clearing of the payment at that time, because this is an accepted payment. So let's see between C to D. Okay, again it's INGA, means instructed agent. So here because in the last scenario it was rejected payment by PACS008, that was instructed, but in this case this payment C, bank C is doing INGA only here, so that's why it is instructing the payment. Okay, by the way, this I just show you that how this flow is passing from one to another bank and how this INDA and INGA has been changed in your acceptance criteria, in your changing methodology. Okay, so if you are preparing for any discussion or interview and any client discussion, till the time only if you remember that, if you understand that what are the different payment methods like INDA, INGA and clearing and cover, who done that, and that is sufficient. Nobody will ask you that how to identify and clearing inside, how the clearing happen, how the INDA, INGAs are mentioned. That things are far away from your scope. Yeah, but might be if you find any use case. Okay, when you are learning any use case in your execution time, or you understanding the any method at time, so that time if somebody, if you want to write down the use cases of the test cases that time, so that might be definitely helpful for this to understand how this methodology works, which just now I explain you, who's starting the bank, who's ending with that, and in rejection scenario. If you remember in the last example, here we use INGA. Why? Because that was the accepted payments. Okay, now here it is a rejected payment by the instructing agent, and there is a PACS002 generated. That's why it is INDA here. By the way, this should be INGA here. Okay, so like this, and you don't have to mug up the things that where INDA and INGA comes. It is actually happen when you actually working with the application. That time you understand this day by day, not suddenly today or like that. Okay, that's one more thing. For interview point of view, perfect. If you are doing the settlement at that time, especially in ISO 222, we have to introduce this messaging system, INGA and INGA, not for one bank, definitely two or more banks only for settlement. Okay. Ah, um, if we no, this field we are going to study in after seventh or eighth session. Okay, we yet to study this field, but now this is came into the example. That's why I explain you. In 8 o'clock batch today, we have discussed about MT 900 message, right? 940 message. Okay, so that is the statement message. So this is the same CAM53 statement message. Okay, 940 is statement message only, where and 950 is your statement message including Swift messages. Okay, that is the difference. No. CAMT 56. Okay, so CAMT always CAMT 52 and 53 are statement messages. Okay, it is equivalent to your 940 and 950 messages. Okay, and CAMT 56 is a cancellation message which is used for cancelling the payment. Now here they haven't explained it properly here. Normally PACS004 could not be sent directly. We have to send. That's why they have explained on the first page itself. But yeah, I have told you that if you want to explain any complete PACS008 message, you have to explain this flow. And let me open that message. Oh sorry, it is not here. It is in my basic video. Sorry, it is not here. Wait a minute, I will show you that also. Can you repeat that? Can you repeat one more? I'm I I'm repeating. Wait a minute. But prior to that, I want to open the. Uh, Here. Okay. So whenever initiating any payment from the front-end application or any partner channel, it is PAN001. It is converting to PACS008 message. So now in middle is your CSM. CSM means any fed wire anyone here. So same PACS008 message is received by the PACS008 creditor bank here, and then based on that what creditor requested statement, it might generate CAMT52, CAMT53 or CAMT54 messages. Okay. So CAMT52 and 53 is almost similar. Only difference is that it is having um, a report or statement, means particular day report or statement, complete day statement. It depends on what exactly. So normal, that's why we have used the word 53 here, means complete day statement here in the creditor side. Now I say, now he asked me that what is CAMT 56 here, what is CAMT 52. We haven't studied anything message here, we only study now, we are only studying this message. But he asked me the question, that's why I'm explaining one more time here. So whenever tax 4 is there, whenever his payment is settled means all the books are clear, payment has been received by the next bank. That time, if payment is settled, then only we have to initiate a payment message from the debtor from his application, which is called CAMT 55. This message is not mentioned here, CAMT 55. That CAMT 55 message will be converted by debtor bank into CAMT 56 message, which is called cancellation message or recall message. That message is sent from your CSM to your creditor bank. So creditor bank with the help of creditor decide whether this payment should have sent back or not, which is a PACS008 message. Shall we send it back or not? If they accept it to send it back, then it will generate a message called PACS004 return message. Okay, that's clear. If they want, and they will send a positive response with this CAMT29 positive message. But if they decide don't send it back this payment, then it will send a negative response which is CAMT29 negative, and it will not send any PACS004 return message. And based on that, whether it is a, because this is a payment from outgoing here, so this will be on this side, creditor side, 52, 53 and 54. So you are sending back from creditor bank, to debtor bank, then same message will be received by the debtor, which is 52, 53 and 54, depending on which bank has made the request. Okay, so this is the logic of your PACS4, PACS2, CAMT 56, CAMT 29. I thought I will discuss with you all the messages, then we'll tell you the logic of this. But yeah, now I told you this logic between this bank, how this is happening between two banks. How this CAMT 52, 53 work statement message, which is exactly similar to your MT 900 message series here. Okay. Now you understand, Lena?
Yes, yes, Prashant.
Okay. Another thing, sir. Did I say about the high value payment? Okay, 940 and 950 are the statement message only. Okay, statements only. Okay. Okay. So these are your settlement methods. Okay, which we have discussed today. And the settlement method happened with the help of some account number. So that account number we are going to see from tomorrow. Okay. In the account number there are some corresponding account number also there, which is corresponding to your 53, 54, which we discussed in empty message. Those are corresponding with this instructing agent. So we are going to discuss that tomorrow. Okay, with help of this next one. The main part was today settlement method. So that we have discussed in detail. Again, the settlement method, INDA, INGA, cover and CLRG, 4 are there. Clearing method we are going to use only when we are doing high value payment system. Okay, high value payment system is nothing but doing the clearing between same currency and same country. Okay, this is the major difference, and this definitely they will ask, somebody ask you if you are in that question paper set. In that, if you explain CBPR payment and suddenly, and if you all mention that okay, I work on high value payment also, so suddenly we'll ask you that what is the difference between CBPR payment and high value payment. Okay, that's another question we have discussed sometime before. Then CBPR payment, when the payment is, which things we are, one more thing we have discussed here, if your payment has been settled, then settled payment can be rejected only by sending return by only PACS004 message. Okay, that's one thing. And at the end we can send settlement with the help of CAMT 53 to the data agent here, credit agent D. Okay, so this is the one which we have discussed today about INDA, INGA, cover and clearing method. So what we'll do from tomorrow, we are going to discuss the next part of this, which is the settlement method account number. So typically this is the IBAN which we are using for doing the settlement of the payment here. Alright, then okay, then see you tomorrow with settlement information. I think this will take a good time because already we are discussing this yesterday, day before yesterday. So this is third session now for PACS008 message only. It will take 2 more sessions to complete PACS008 message. So this is in detailed discussion of PACS008 message each and every field. Okay, then based on that only other messages are very much similar based on this only. Alright then. I haven't cover example, right? Cover example we have in PACS009. When we discussion, this is PACS008, right? So cover we are going to discuss in PACS009 cover messaging that time. Okay. So that time I haven't found the example, but I will find out when we are discussing PACS009 that time. Okay, I am writing down with me also, and keep me remember also if I forgot for PACS009. Alright, from tomorrow we are going to see then settlement account. Alright, see you then tomorrow.